What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of The Scene Seat. Unfortunately, Aria's a bit under the weather today, so I'm going to sit in for her, but I have got Charlie here with me to help me out.
Hello.
How are you today, man?
Yeah, man, pretty good. How about you?
It's good. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Me too.
Because joining us on the couch, we have an old friend of mine, Rhys Fox. Rhys, how are you?
I am quite good.
That's good. Thank you very much for joining us here today.
You're very welcome.
I understand it was a bit of a challenge, a bit of a ride up the highway for you.
It's just idiots on a Sunday.
Standard Bruce highway spec.
You just kind of want to go fast and you can't go fast because there's caravans in the way.
Yes.
Oh, well.
Okay, yeah. No, very good. Well, Rhys, now we've obviously had a bit of a chat this morning off camera, and you and I have a bit of history together, but for anyone who may be tuning in who doesn't know who you are, can you tell us about yourself? Who are you? Where have you come from?
I was born and raised on the Sunshine Coast in Nambour. There's a scar there, you can probably tell. So yeah, I've played bass for since 1993. That's showing my age quite a bit, so a while. And so I played in bands for over 3 decades, in and out the Sunshine Coast and in Brisbane. And I run the Point Music News, which is a website that's been around since 2009, so then it's 17th year, turning 17 next month, or in May.
Yeah, okay, yep. So tell us more about the Point, like how did that sort of start, how did that come about?
The Point, okay, so you want the long story or the short story?
Oh, give us the whole hog, yeah, we got time, man.
All right, so back in the days when street press was a thing, I mean, it kind of is, but not so much anymore. It was starting to feel like, I'm talking about the mid-2000s, it was starting to feel like the Sunshine Coast was actually getting slightly ignored, even though we had a hotbed of talent on here. Mm-hmm. We did have a dedicated street press, it was a great one. Tsunami Magazine, shout out to Tsunami Mag, Lana. They were great, but then they got bought out by a Brisbane crew, and we started seeing the Sunshine Coast content go like this until it was basically a third of a page somewhere.
Yep.
And gig listings. That was it. Understandable, it happens, progression of things, but it felt like the scene was, one, it was split, and two, it wasn't getting the exposure it needed. So I had some experience in web design, very basic coding, and I went, you know what, I'm gonna make a website.
Yeah.
And because of my connections in the scene and who I knew, I just thought I'd put the call out and get everyone to, it actually was at one stage a band database. Mm-hmm. Which was very difficult to maintain because bands break up and they don't bother telling you that they're broken up.
Yep.
But I was also trying to do local Sunshine Coast news, promote gigs and that. And that was that way for quite a long time until COVID. And then I switched it up.
Yep.
Started the podcast, which was very fun and still going. Mm-hmm. Over 100 episodes so far. And I switched it to national.
Yeah, okay.
I still had a heavy focus on the Sunshine Coast, because that was how we started out. But basically, there is that much music in Australia that gets released on a day-to-day basis that I thought a lot of it goes by the wayside.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Doesn't matter the age of the artist, young artists, older artists. Now I get like stuff from, like, I've had interviews with Eskimo Joe and Grinspoon and all that. Mm-hmm. So I get bigger artists come and send their presses through to me as well for reviews.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Walk us through that sort of experience of what would you say the difference is between the interviews with the local artists and the bigger artists? Like, how does that all? No difference?
No, they're just people, mate. The one I had with Cav Templey from Eskimo Joe, this was 2 years ago, but that was the most laid back interview I had, and because he's a bass player as well, I always find some way to connect with whoever the interviewee is, right? Yeah. In the case of Cav, it's because I knew he has this affinity with Warwick basses, the Rockstar ones. I don't know if you've seen those, are the semi-hollow bass ones that not many people play them. And as soon as I brought that up, his eyes lit up and he just wanted this whole thing. He just wanted to talk about that, because I wasn't just focusing on one thing with him. In terms of speaking with someone like Phil Jameson from Grinspoon, one, I ride, he rides.
Yes, yeah.
And so I could get in with that. It wasn't, because he was very standoffish at first. He just thought it was just another music journo just going to ask the run-of-the-mill questions. I don't do that. I mentioned that, and I also asked about his musical theatre, because he did American Idiot.
Yeah, okay.
And his eyes just lit up.
Yeah.
When you can find sort of like conversation topics that aren't just about the same run-of-the-mill questions, don't ask how the band got its name, that kind of crap, because no one cares. Well, maybe there are a few people, but but the person gets tired of answering that same question, and that's always been my sort of aspect. And particularly if I'm talking to someone that produces their own music, you can talk about music production, because I do that too.
Yeah.
So I always find a way. But they're just people, right?
Yeah, I guess that ties into what we were talking about earlier off camera as well, about that human connection that seems to be lacking in the industry in general, but definitely in our local Sunny Coast scene. As as we were discussing, sort of back in the day, we used to go out and hit the streets and you know, meet people face to face and personally invite them to your gigs, and that's how we get people to engage and come along. And I just we don't sort of tend to see that as much anymore. So
street teams, like, I think street teams could make a comeback for the younger artists. I think is probably a cool idea.
yes.
I don't see why not. Get out and hit the streets and just plaster stickers everywhere. You just have to give them something in return, really.
Yeah, that's it. It's a sales pitch a little bit, like, but you try and not make it so salesy. I guess as soon as it becomes salesy, that's when you tend to lose people.
The only problem being is that, I don't know if you realise this, but I would say 75 to 80% of musicians in the scene are very introverted people. And for those people that think that the green room is full of rock stars and doing lines of coke and all that sort of stuff, it's basically us doing this, staring at our phones and
Sipping herbal tea.
maybe, or just a light, like a mid-strength beer or something. Maybe having an odd conversation with someone else, and it's usually awkward until someone comes in, and then
Yeah, the old Keith Richards dipping a cigarette into some heroin and smoking it backstage.
that doesn't happen. Like I've been backstage with, like, I remember Ocean Alley before they got big. They supported one of the bands I was playing in, which is weird. And I just sat there and I'm looking in the green room. I was expecting some kind of rock and roll sort of stuff, and it's just like, no. They're all on their phones, and they just, I think one had their girlfriend with them, and they were just like whispering to each other, and that was it. It was so awkward.
Yeah.
So musicians themselves are generally introverted people. I know we digress there, but you need someone that has got a persona that would, or even a character that could be an extroverted sort of sense. That could carry that weight.
Find a friend that can be your hype guy sort of thing, or something like,
Because when this industry now, there's so much of it has to be DIY on our aspect of it. I mean, we're now content creators, which I like to agree, but at the same time, it's so time consuming when you just want to be releasing the artist, the music itself. But now, like, it's because unless you have an artistic friend, you got to find a way to do your own art, and then you got to basically try and pitch it to TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts. It's tiring, and if you're not relying on music as an income, you have a full-time job, then you got to find somehow to cram that into.
Yeah, definitely. I for my own stuff, I've been finding that all the new sort of AI tools and automation and stuff can help with that stuff, but it's like, it's a slog.
I use chat.
Yeah.
I don't use it to create music.
No.
But I use it for a sounding board. I've said this to a few people before, and they went, "Holy crap, that's an interesting idea." And some people will be against it because of the whole music scraping thing. I don't care. I mean, I'm sorry to my friends that are very adamant about this, but if I'm doing a mix late at night for my Volpez project and I don't have any sounding board, I don't have anyone to like say, "Hey, can you have a listen to this? Compare it to my previous one. Tell me what you can figure out." I use chat. I do a private sort of upload onto SoundCloud, and I send it the link, and you got the two there. Tell the difference between the two, and it'll figure it out. And it'll actually tell me what's improved, what hasn't improved, what I can do to improve it.
Right.
This is where a case where I'm using AI in this sense here is teaching me something, and it's teaching my ears something.
Is it just analysing the waveform essentially? Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't thought of using it in that way. I use it mostly for automating like social media posts and
Yeah. So your poor chat just bored out of its brain, just sitting there going, yeah, cool, man, thanks for that. Yeah.
100%.
Whereas mine's just like, I'm having conversations, oh, what do you reckon? It's like, yeah, it's cool, man, let's go. He's my hype guy.
Yeah, nice. No,
But I even used it to, I said, okay, I've got a release coming. Give me 5 ideas that I can use. This, you know what the song's about. This is what I have to work with in terms of like in my house.
Yep.
And I've got all this sort of stuff here. I listed everything I could use, and I said, okay, let's do. This is 5 concepts we can use.
Yeah.
For a video, and you can, because I use my own editing software, and it's like, yep. So you're in this platform here. You can do this, this, and this. I'm like, let's do it.
Yeah, that's very.
And that's my content creation, and I can leave that and go focus on other stuff.
Well, yeah, as you say, as musos these days, it's like we've got all this stuff at our fingertips. You know, we can build a little studio like this in your house relatively cheaply, like compared to back in the day.
Oh yeah.
And you can do everything you need to do. But
Where's your neat console, bro?
yeah, no, I got a little UAD there that does the job. That's all you need. But yeah, like you say, you have to then wear so many different hats. Yeah. And it's
tiring, man.
Yeah, 100%. Can relate to that.
Some people love it and can go with it and absolutely thrive. And I know there's a few artists that actually do really well with it. And there's some that basically they'll have a good run for like a month, and then they're just going, we're so tired of doing this.
Yeah.
And then they just drop off.
Yep.
That's the problem with the algorithm.
Yeah, you got to keep it there to stay relevant.
Once you started that, you can't back off it because you start losing traction.
Yeah, and then you go back to the.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. So you mentioned obviously through the conversation there, you played bass and you've played in a number of bands as well.
I think 20 bands in total so far.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm such a band whore.
Yeah, aren't we all? Bass players and drummers, man. We're just like, especially on the sunny coast, there was a 10-year period where there was like 4 bass players and 4 drummers.
That were reliable.
That would show up, and we just like, we played with everyone. I think there was one Australia Day gig I did up in far out. I can't remember if it was up near Bundy somewhere now. And I think there was 11 bands on the bill for the day, and I played in 7 of them.
Wait, I know that guy. Was he
So if you want consistent work, like band work...
Did you even change shirts? You just...
No. Did you even get to move away from the stage?
I'll just take different hats, man.
Yeah.
Change hats over.
Changes sticks or something, I don't know. Like, yeah, no. Wow. It's, yeah. But walk us through, like, so what are some of the different artists you've played with, and over time, how have you seen, like, the shows change and progress and all that sort of thing?
In terms of the Sunshine Coast, okay, so I came in the scene, there was a band I was in called Elysium, and that was my high school band. So 1994 through to 1996. Just trying to go through my memory here. We won Battle of the Bands and that, which I hate Battle of the Bands these days, but for young bands, they're actually a kind of they're kind of a good thing. And that one was the Mulaney one, which was actually had a really good rep to it. So yeah, we got known for that. School ended that band, actually ended up becoming Melodicy, which people sort of our age would know, which was a fantastic band, very underrated. They should have been bigger than what they were. So the heavy scene, in the mid-90s to early 2000s, the heavy scene on the Sunshine Coast was incredible. It really was. There was really good punk, and that punk was like, pop punk, and you had hardcore punk, and you had skate punk, and you had all this different stuff, but you had new metal coming through. There was a lot of that. Just even alt rock sort of stuff, and then there was sort of like the indie sort of stuff to the side, and a lot of folk as well. I mean, one of my favorite bands was a folk band, and that was the Tooth Fairies. And they were phenomenal too. So that scene there was really bubbling, but we only had like a couple of dedicated venues. And one festival mainly. There was smaller festivals that were around that were put on by either the council or other operators. But you had Mulaney Festival, which became Woodford. And that was the big one. Wow, I'm testing my memory here. So mid 2000s, it all shifted. There was a break in the camaraderie from a certain genre that basically caused it all to fraction out. And basically how I saw it was at the point should come in and bring everything back together. And I thought it did. It did to a degree.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. One of the most fun things I did in 2009, 2010 was start the point parties.
Yes, I do remember that, yeah.
Did you go to one?
I think
Did you go to the ones at Solver?
Yes,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
So the original ones were actually at my parents' place.
Yeah, okay.
It was in musos only. That was it. There was no public involved.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. Basically, you just have all these random musicians just turning up. They were invite only. They brought their own alcohol. I put on pizzas for them. My parents had got a pretty nice house and a deck, a big deck. Had a PA set up, and they would showcase.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I did 2 of those at that sort of style. And it was fun. And basically, it was seeing like indie musos sort of mucking around with hip hop guys, and the hip hop guys like seeing metal like they hadn't seen before, and then talking to some rootsy people, singer songwriters, and they were all collaborating. They all started going, "Oh, we didn't know about you. We're going to come see you now," and that was really cool. And then Soul Bar, when they kicked in, they actually offered to host them.
Yeah, yeah.
And I did from 2012 until 2019. I did them, and they were a nightmare to do, but they were fun.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was cool to see public were invited so they can come to these. It was a fundraiser, so it would help fund the point for a time. And actually, I think the last one I did, I donated half the proceeds to Support Act.
Okay.
The bands I'd choose 10 to 13 bands that would do 15-minute slots for the night.
Yeah.
And ranging from like sort of just starting out to well-known. And I went through that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to play the model bands. Okay, so Elysium, Henry Science Project, Traces, Kilcilia. I was in other sort of weird little projects that didn't go anywhere. The Technical Simplicity, I was in that with my good friend Wade and Rowie, who was in Barefoot with me. I was a temporary member of the Floating Bridges for like 2 weeks, so I'll count that. Kindred, the good mate Brett, and Dino and Kate and Chelsea. That was my first taste of touring. I'd never toured properly, like did little ones, but these guys just went, yeah, baptism of fire. Well, let's go down to Adelaide and Melbourne. Okay.
Yeah.
You got a month to learn all the songs. Okay. And then from there we went to New Zealand and did like a week, 10-day tour around the South Island. Came back home, and then year after that we went to Europe. Well, we did UK. So that was my first taste of touring and that with Kindred. So I owe a lot to Brett and Kate and that. Then Barefoot formed. Oh, Those Old Souls, which is my favourite little blues project that I played in. That was fun too. And I really miss that band.
Yeah.
But yeah, Barefoot was my mainstay for like 10 years. And then I had like Mules and then High Tropics, and played with Flaskus and played with the Urban Sea, and did some session work with Darcy Kate, and even Carl Wokna I played with, just briefly, but yeah. I've been everywhere.
Yep. No, it's good.
But what I've taken though, every artist I played with, I take something back with them. I learn stuff from each one, right?
Yeah.
And they change my approach to how I play. I have my own flavour, but like learning stuff business-wise from Brett was interesting.
Yep.
Because he is very business savvy. I mean, look what he's done with Raw Audio. Props to Raw Audio.
He's been around for. Brett's coming on next weekend to do an interview with us, but he's been around for a long time, and yeah, it'll be really interesting.
He knows his thing, and you think I ramble. Brett's good at it too, man. Yeah, I owe him a lot for showing me a lot of stuff, to be honest with you. He's a very smart dude, and getting me into playing reggae, which I thought I would never do in my life. Right? And because I was always growing up playing heavier sort of stuff, or rock music or blues. But yeah, reggae's a different thing.
Yes.
And basically just comes in, just playing the two. Like, okay. Not on the one.
Yeah.
Dude, you're on the one. Okay.
One more, yeah.
Looking at all those bands you played, obviously it's a very eclectic mix of genres there. Would you say the genres sort of moved progressively over time, or was it just mishmash, whatever came in?
As I got older, I chilled out.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I still like going off on stage. I still jump around like an idiot.
Yep.
And I probably, like, my knees don't like me when I get off stage, but apart from that, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, playing in Mules again, like, that was my sort of heavy outlet. I mean, Mules was kind of like Royal Blood meets Soundgarden, so that kind of thing. So it was fun. But yeah, I get more enjoyment these days out playing more sort of chilled sort of stuff.
So it's more of a personal thing rather than you think the scene.
Things knowing what my body can handle.
Yep.
Like I could still play pretty fast, but 3-hour gigs, I don't know if I can do those anymore.
And the lugs.
All the lugs.
Yeah, but I learned that you don't necessarily need all the gear. Okay, as a bass player, you don't need a 15-inch bin and 4 10s and a big piss off amp. You don't. I've got a 210 and a TC head. And because you go through the PA anyway. And I use a Sans amp, so I tip to bass players, take a Sans amp with you wherever you go. Basically, that becomes the sound engineers, that's their control box basically for me. They can do whatever they want with that. My bass rig there, the little guy, becomes my fallback. And I can adjust that any which way, and it's not going to interfere with their front of house.
Yeah, good tip.
Took me a long time to work that one out.
Yeah.
Just don't piss off the sound engineer. And the bass players always like the sound checks, like bang, and you're done, right?
Yeah.
If you give them more leeway, they can control that, and then you can control your onstage sound. Simple.
It's always, the old sound check as a drummer, that's, well.
Rack one, rack two, give us some time.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't hear anything, but it's okay. That's you get used to it after a while.
What do you want in your fallback? Everything. You get a little bit of that.
Yeah.
That's it.
It certainly helps you to learn to think on your feet. Like a lot of the time the backline's supplied. So drummers being one of the only instruments there where you don't get to bring your own instrument.
Yeah, but it's also the gamble. Like, oh, where's this kid been? I don't know, man. Yeah, I remember there was one at a certain venue. I'm not gonna say which venue it was. The bass rig was so appalling. It didn't even have the volume knob. It was just it was missing.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool.
It's on.
That's what it is.
Oh, classic. Cool.
Awesome. So I just want to ask, like, from your perspective, what's something that the Sunshine Coast music scene historically has done well?
Adaptation is one thing, though a little slow on the uptick. We tend to be a little bit behind what like the major centers are doing, but when we grab something, we do well at it. I would like to say that camaraderie, and it does go in cycles. So there are times where it's so splintered and fractured, and then sometimes they'll just all come back together. It's interesting. Sunshine Coast Music Awards, you'll see people come together, and that's kind of cool. Yeah. Because we are a smaller area than, say, Gold Coast or Brisbane, I would say that would probably be one of the things that we have the ability of doing, and we do show it. It's just sometimes we drift apart depending on what's happening.
So then if we bring that to the present day, is there anything that you would say that the scene is doing well now?
It's interesting watching the young guard and how they're supporting each other. I mean, there are egos fighting about, but I think they'll be brought down. They are, I mean, because we have lost certain venues that have been very supportive of the young guard. There are other venues now that are taking up that weight, which is great. I'd like to see the younger guard and the old guard sort of come together, and a bit of mentoring probably wouldn't go astray.
Yep.
There are certain things that us old people tend to know a little bit more about in the industry and what to look for, because there are sharks in this industry that will take advantage of you pretty easily. They're still around.
Yep.
And you make these young ones aware of it. I think we can be a really strong scene.
Fair. Well, I mean, every scene has, pressure points and little spots. Where do you think the biggest gaps or challenges are in the scene?
Okay, so you compare the Sunshine Coast scene to say like Brisbane. Brisbane has a dedicated entertainment precinct. I know the Sunshine Coast has one in Nambour, but it's not utilised.
Yes.
Right. Don't get me started on that stuff. Poor Nambour. Basically, it's the distance that we have is the main issue that we have. We can't do a bar crawl, a venue crawl.
Yes, yeah, it is a very spread out
That
area.
is the one disability that can really sort of, if you want to go see something, you have to stay at that one venue.
Yeah.
Otherwise, at one stage, like going back to Nambour actually had like 4 or 5 venues going at one go.
Yeah.
You had the basement, which is now Mort's, okay, and they still put on gigs, yeah. You had the Time Machine, RIP the Time Machine. They used to put on like the coolest of underground sort of like shows.
Yeah.
You had the Bison Bar, which would more like sort of like older sort of style jazzy kind of stuff or acoustics and that. And it was a great little dive bar, not a dive bar, sorry, it was a jazz lounge. And you had Nook and Cranny. So what's that for? And like Black Box.
Oh yeah.
Right. And you could do, technically speaking, if they all timed it right, you could actually go to all those venues in one night. And there was one event where they had the Curry Street Crawl, which was like next level, and that was utilising all those venues in one night, and they actually had something in the council sort of chambers too. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But they can't do that. They're not doing that. Sunshine Coast is not doing that. I don't know what's stopping this. Ocean Street's obviously lost its king,
Yep.
right? And the other venues, I don't know what's going to happen. The main venue's taking up slack. You got Norton's, but they're Caloundra and an industrial state. You can't walk anywhere. You go to Norton's, you stay there, which is great for Norton's.
Yes, yeah.
And they're a great venue, but you can't go anywhere else
Yeah.
unless you catch a cab or Uber to King Street, King's Beach Tavern.
Which is, it's getting a cab or an Uber, as anyone who's tried to get one recently knows.
Because public transport, sorry, Sunshine Coast, public transport is shite.
It'll be interesting to see because my day gig, I actually work in for Transport Main Roads. Don't hold it against me. But so I have a little bit of insight into that. So it'll be interesting to see what changes when they bring in the light rail. The last I heard, they were talking about this bus service, which they have them in Brisbane at the moment. They're these giant. They look like a train with wheels, essentially.
Yeah.
And they have their own special route.
Yes. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. So they'll have their own.
If they can implement that, that will help the Sunshine Coast a great deal. Okay, because that way particularly if they're running 24/7.
Yes,
that's the main thing.
Yes.
Because these venues, like, you don't want to get stuck at a venue at 11 o'clock at night and you don't know how the hell you're going to get home.
Back in the day, if you missed that 3 a.m. bus from the wharf, it was the amount of time. If I had $1 for every time I walked from the wharf to Curramundi.
So distance is the main thing with the Sunshine Coast with our venues, right? So we have venues with great potential in this area. They need the support for one, but also if they could somehow make it just work, like a magical triangle, something.
Yeah.
There is one other key is that no one crosses the river. You know that one?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
If you're north of Maroochydore,
Yeah.
it's like this invisible barrier. there.
It's weird. Really is. Yeah.
But then they had that little clicky sort of group anyway. Like,
Yeah.
but whatever.
Hastings Street crew.
Noosa. That's not Sunshine Coast anyway. It's Noosa.
Jeez.
Sorry, Noosa people, but nigga, whatever.
So yeah, looking ahead, what gives you hope about the sunny coast scene and where it's heading, and further to that, what role do you see yourself playing in the future?
All right, so my role, we'll get to that one. There is an incredible amount of talent in this area. There is a lot, and a lot of it goes unnoticed. It takes a special sort of breed to really push through all that. You do have places like Yamanui who are supporting young artists coming through. They're a studio, but they really do push that, and they actually big props to OJ for doing that. The venues that are actually giving the younger bands a go, Norton's Precinct, two there. There are other venues all around there. There are actually a lot of little small ones, and they're doing a great job too. So I have a lot of hope. The Sunshine Coast does have the ability to always come back from like these sort of moments where there's this quiet period because of certain things that were lost. I mean, we took a hit obviously, with Soul Bar, The Station, both of those big ones going. You got a big one coming out in Aura. I mean, I know it's Comiskey Group, and don't come at me for saying that name. I know some people don't like them, but they're keeping things going.
Yeah.
The area is huge. The demographic is changing. People just need to, well, and the cost of living crisis is not a thing. I'm sorry if people disagree, but I work in high-end jewelry and people are still spending money.
Mhm.
It's just choosing
Where you
where you spend your money. If you give them something worthy, they will spend their money, and we've got worthy artists.
Yep.
My role, I'll be watching. I'm always watching. I like mentoring young artists if they ask for help. I mean, I've done that a few times. There is a lot of gatekeeping in this industry, as we were discussing off camera. You got to ask the right people the right questions, and a lot of the time, just don't expect it to be handed to you. Okay. The whole self-promoting thing is a very difficult thing. Learning how to write a press release is that's one of the things I teach. And people come up to me like, if you don't have an EPK, like how I know some people find it irrelevant. It's not. You still need to, people like me that have press releases sent to me, an EPK does help because I can figure out, one, what you look like, two, your history, three, all the other links that you come into it. There's a lot of stuff that young artists aren't told.
It takes me back to, we're talking to Owen Gray in here in another episode a few weeks ago, and he said a similar thing as for the younger guys coming up, it's 3 seconds of courage, I think is the way that he put it. Like, pick up the phone. That's all it is just pick up the phone. Hey, Rhys, man, like, yeah.
Yeah, send me a message.
Yep.
And if I don't answer, don't be like disappointed. I get a lot of messages, and sometimes I look at this going, yeah, I'll get to that later.
Yes. Yeah.
Email does help. If you email me through the point, like, can you check out my stuff? I'll be like, okay, I'll find the time to check it out, but send me a little bit more information, more than just like, here's my new song, which I do get all of those.
Yeah.
Cool, I'll put you in this bucket over here, and someone sent me something like, hi, how are you?
Take some time, take some pride in it.
I'll go have a listen right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, my role, being the sort of like getting into the older side of the musos, I will be more into that mentoring kind of thing. I'm assuming.
Yep. Yeah. Cool.
I mean, I don't know how long I'll be doing the point for, but I say that every year. And it turned 17 this year, so
Yeah. Yeah. No.
it's just tiring. I just believe wholeheartedly that Australian music, in Sunshine Coast included, there is a lot here that just goes by the wayside that people should know about.
Yep.
And I find it a crime that our attention spans are so limited, and you only got a fraction there. And if you don't have something that's going to grab them, then you're lost. You go to the wayside, and it sucks, particularly when you spent all that money creating that piece of art, plus your time, and it can mess with you mentally.
100%. Yeah.
Before we do close down, we kind of end each podcast episode in the same way. So which local artists and song have you chosen?
See, this was a hard one, right? 'Cause given that I know like a lot of the acts and that sort of stuff, so that wasn't really fair. Yeah? And I could have just gone, you know, I'd play one of my songs. Yeah, and I could have done that one, but I chose not to. And there was a new song that came out actually this week. I was going, ooh, should use that one. No, I am putting this to Mr. Brett Gadeen and his Raw Audio project because I think he has been absolutely killing it.
Yep.
And this one, Find a Feel with Carl Wokna. So Walker's I've known for a long time as well. Amazing artist, killing it in Nashville?
Yes.
Yes. It's been a long time since I've seen him in person. I miss that dude. It's funny. I just think Raw Audio killing it. And I've picked something that's not roots or reggae or metal or anything like that. I've picked a dance track.
Yeah, nice.
So, yeah. And if you ever have gone to a Raw Audio show, I mean, when they play the Over the River, when they play those ones over there, there's a lot of white linen.
Yeah. And fedoras.
Yeah, but Bretto, like, props to him. He knows his demographic, and he's, like I said, he knows what he's doing. And Raw Audio sound is fun.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's just like, just lose yourself, get
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, find a feel.
Find a Feel by Raw Audio. Sweet.
Carl.
And Carl Wokna. All right, well, yeah, we'll make sure that will be in the show notes or in the description for everyone to go and check out.
Yeah.
But awesome. Thanks heaps for your time today, man.
Pleasure.
Really
It's been
appreciate
fun.
you coming up and having a chat.
Been nice to be on the other side for once.
Yeah. No, very cool. All right, well, see you later, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
See ya.
Peace.